But it's clear that any political leader that takes an independent foreign policy right now, the United States is going after them. The United States is attempting to pressure these countries, no matter what social character they may have, no matter what the character of their government is, they are going to pressure them because this Russia-Ukraine conflict has put the United States in a bit of a bind, right? The United States needs friends, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict is showing that friends are not so reliable, right? And the United States has itself to blame for that because the United States has spent how many decades, how many centuries, right, waging endless war, attempting even with its so-called allies to assert its dominance in a unipolar way. And that is now coming back to haunt the United States, the United States' empire. The chickens are coming home to roost. Blowback is here, and it's happening in Pakistan as well. So I want to talk about the China-Pakistan economic corridor because this is a huge component of the Belt and Road Initiative that China has as an overall strategic economic vision for integration and global development, South-South development and cooperation. And really the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which really launched, at least officially, in 2016, right, with the first project that became operational out of it. Since then, right, since this initiative has been underway, there have been a lot of concerns about it. The U.S. is very concerned because the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is really, it's almost this base, right? Because of the importance of this for the region. You have plans for Xinjiang to be connected to Pakistan by rail, right? That is underway. There are projects to make that happen. And now with Afghanistan's new political transition, there are hopes that Afghanistan will also get into the interconnectivity realm, will build infrastructure and invest in Belt and Road projects so that it can also, its massive wealth, right? I mean, trillions of dollars of mineral wealth reside in Afghanistan. That wealth can then go to developing the country and integrating the country into what already is a resource-rich region, one where countries like Pakistan and India and others, even though India refuses to be part of the Belt and Road Initiative, nonetheless, the Central Asian region too, right? These countries all have a very big opportunity right now to get themselves out of imposed, right, forced underdevelopment from imperialism. And that's a huge threat to the United States. And the United States is very angry about the China-Pakistan economic corridor. They actually recently, just in the last few months, I think earlier in March, there was an attempt to get the military on the side of the United States was attempting to get a big portion of the military to renounce the Belt and Road Initiative and reliance and dependence on China, and uh, attempt to get assurances that Pakistan would move into the US's orbit economically. It didn't work, and it's not going to work because what do they have to offer? I'm going to show you, right? The United States has zero to offer in the economic realm. The United States is not going to invest in roads and bridges and ports and development zones and economic development in Pakistan and public transit. That's not going to happen. Reforestation, but China is saying we can do these things. We can help Pakistan develop and get out of this extreme poverty which has characterized the country for so many years. And so that article I just read about the regime change operation said that there's $60 billion USD being invested in the China-Pakistan economic corridor. And I'm going to show you what this money is being used for. So the Pakistan government actually has an entire progress update. Okay. Well, China and Pakistan. This is a government of Pakistan website, but it's a CPEC authority, the Ministry of Planning, Development, and Special Initiatives, and CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is one of them. So just to give you an idea of how widespread, how massive this project is, I want to show you, right? So here are the categories. There's energy, transport, infrastructure, Guadar, uh, industrial cooperation, special economic zone, social sector development. And I believe Guadar is like development project, development zones, right? So ports, cities, that kind of thing, urban development. And so I'm just going to go through each one. I'm not going to go through all of the projects, but I'm going to show you how extensive this is. So, in terms of energy, you have one, two, three, four, five, and these are all either operational or under construction, right? So, you have 10 projects already operational, energy projects. Then you have under construction, you have uh, another six, and then under consideration, you have another five. So, you have a lot of already just in the realm of energy, you have more than 20 projects either operational, under construction, or being considered. That's huge. That's a huge number. That's just energy, right? And so you have coal-fired plants. You have uh, other projects. You also have green energy projects, solar parks here. Uh, 400 megawatts, 600 megawatts now under construction or under implementation. You have hydropower dams and wind farms. Here you have a wind farm, right? These are just wind farm, right? You have a lot of green energy projects as well. So that's huge. That is huge, right? Because Pakistan was once a country that was energy deficient, that it did not have the capacity in terms of its development to use its resources to power the whole country. And now it does. Now it is actually a surplus country. Transport infrastructure. So here you have one, two, three, four, five, six that have already been built and are operational. Here you have another seven, eight. Now you have another four projects under construction, and then in pipeline projects, right? You have I mean, you just have so many here. 24. You have long-term projects that are under approval or being discussed, but that's another 20 plus projects, right? But we can go along the line. I mean, special economic zones are really important because it's all about building up industrial development. So you have four of those plus uh, another five under consideration. This is interesting, though. Social sector development. Okay. Because a lot of people think that the Belt and Road Initiative is just China and partner countries in the Belt and Road just engaging in this relationship of exploitation where China is just going into countries and saying, give me your resources and sure we'll build you bridges, but we're going to put you in debt for this infrastructure, right? It's almost like a loan shark bank is how they try to portray China. But what's so ridiculous about this is you just go to the CPEC website and you see the social and economic development that has happened under this project, and they list it, right? You have vaccine storage and transportation equipment that's been completed, right? These projects to put that in place. Poverty alleviation training. That doesn't sound very profitable for China to just train Pakistan to learn how to alleviate poverty within its own country, right? To share ideas. Emergency relief supplies for enhancing disaster preparedness. So vocational and technical education capacity build up project. That doesn't seem very profitable for China to go into another country and say, hey, we'll train your workers and we'll train uh, your people to be able to handle this technology and understand how to use certain equipment. I mean, that doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like a realm of exploitation that I think of when I think of something like neocolonialism or imperialism. Then you have Pakistan vocational schools, upgrading and renovation projects. So there you go. I mean, you have the renovation of schools, you have the provision of agricultural equipment and tools, which are under construction. You have the China Pakistan Joint Agricultural Technology Laboratory. So you have all the overseas student scholarships, right? All these things drinking water equipment, all these things that are being, under construction right now between China and Pakistan in Pakistan, which I think shows that CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is about a lot more, and the Belt and Road Initiative is about a lot more than just China exploiting other countries for its own gain. And so I'm going to read you a report now. Okay. I'm going to read you a report now about the green aspects of this, right? The aspects of CPEC that are attempting to make the project a green project, a green infrastructure development project. So I'm going to share a report in Xinhua, which talked about um, a recent meeting, right, that happened in December of 2021, where they talk about China and Pakistan working hand in hand for a green CPEC. And it says that China and Pakistan are keeping their commitment to making the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor a green project and enable generations to have a green environment. Besides the Green CPEC initiative, the Chinese government and companies are also supporting Pakistan in its 10 billion tree tsunami program of the country's Prime Minister Imran Khan by vigorously participating and donating in the drive. So not many people know that China actually accounts for, I think, 25% of all reforestation that has happened in the world in China. And now this is saying that China is also going to help Pakistan's own project for reforestation, the 10 billion tree tsunami program, directly, in addition to CPEC projects. So Chinese companies are working on CPEC projects in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, which have planted a large number of trees in their premises to support the drive. The Chinese embassy in Pakistan on Wednesday also donated 7,000 saplings for the program to support Pakistan's efforts in environmental protection. Pakistan's Minister for Climate Change, Malik Amin Aslam, in a conversation with Xinhua, lauded the Chinese government supporting Pakistan's green vision, adding that the gesture of the Chinese government and people shows that both countries not only share the past, but also the future. So there you have it, right? We don't have to read this whole article. I just wanted to get into how, China and Pakistan, their governments are supporting each other. And it says right here, nature conservation and practicing the idea of a green belt and road to promote high quality development within CPEC, within this cooperation agreement. So, I mean, this is a big deal. And I mean, this is a big reason why the United States does not want these integration projects to occur, because you saw there are projects for poverty alleviation. There are projects to renew water systems, renovate water systems, to enhance Pakistan's energy capacity. I mean, all across the board, these projects will make the global south a more powerful place, a more sovereign place. These countries will have more opportunities to conduct independent policies, to really assert their independence in ways that the United States does not want to see. And so this attempt to conduct regime change is all about breaking this multipolar world and breaking weaker, smaller, poorer countries away from Russia and China's orbit, from their alliance, from their allegiance, from their solidarity, right? That is what this is all about. And it's important that we are able to not only understand this, but also be able to point people in the direction of, well, this Belt and Road Initiative, this China Pakistan Economic Corridor is really, I think, giving a lot of promise to a region that has not had much to be optimistic about. Look at what's happening in Afghanistan right now, right? I mean, Pakistan and Afghanistan are very close in terms of regional politics issues, right? They have both been played off each other for so long with regard to U.S. imperialism. And in Afghanistan, that country is being starved. I think it's like 170 babies. The Biden administration is killing children through this sanctions regime against the Taliban, the seizure of assets. I think it's billions worth of Afghan assets, much of which is aid, because the economy was destroyed by U.S. occupation, Afghanistan became dependent on foreign aid That foreign aid has been turned off, and now there's something like 170 babies per day dying in Afghanistan from preventable illness and diseases, malnutrition, etc., because of the United States, right? And so just with that understanding alone, and with that knowledge alone, we can kind of get the picture that CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, this multipolar world, this new Silk Road, the Belt and Road Initiative, all of this is a threat to the United States' agenda, to its plans.